And welcome to our first episode of The Feeling is Mutual. I am your co-host, Dylan Joyce. This, David Doyle. Say hello to the fans.
Hello?
This is our first episode, so it's going to be really choppy. This is actually our second taping of the episode. We had some issues with the first one in YouTube's editor, so hopefully this one runs a little bit smoother and we'll be a little bit more on the point. As you know, based off the title of the video, this is going to be not only an introduction to our show, but an introduction to David, who this was primarily his idea. So I'm going to let you have the floor, David, and just kind of explain what you want to do with this channel, and then I'll start leading into discussing about the topics.
Sucks that we're kind of peeking at our first episode because I'm going to be the best guest ever on this, about said podcast, on this YouTube channel.
There you go. So many you making mistakes.
Dylan has called me arrogant before. I think I am a little arrogant, but I think I'm also pretty humble too.
No, that's what makes you so arrogant, is you try to be humble, arrogant. You want to dress nice and do all arrogant things, but then not say it.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's a problem dressing up nice, but...
You know, relationship issue. This is in our first episode now. This wasn't in the last one.
This is fun, though. Extra content. But, no, we're just... Dylan's better at explaining things. I wish Dylan would have said this, but...
Okay. Look. We're trying to reach out and try to, like, assist people on different social topics as far as, like, health and wellness, truthfully. Like, David's kind of coming into a new mental stage in his life where he's coming through some traumatic experiences, and he's trying to now help other people grow the way that he has, because he understands where he's came from. And he brought me in because, you know, we're best friends, lifelong best friends, and I have a podcast that I host, and so, you know, this is kind of, I've been in this media spectrum for a little while, and, you know, we're going to kind of do this together, and hopefully, you know, if we help one person, that'll mean more than anything in the world, other than just, you know, making it for ourselves, and hopefully kind of documenting some of David's growth as we listen to other people. We've got some guests that are close friends that have dealt with their own personal stuff, and we want to kind of touch on a lot of these issues, like with depression, anxiety, and David is going to be a little bit of a general hit on anxiety, but we'll do a full episode later on it later.
Later on. Yeah.
Later on. So David, I'm just going to go ahead and lean in. This whole thing is based around some of the anxieties and things you've felt in your past that have probably led to some of the decisions that you've made, good and bad, and insecurities, all that. So just kind of go and break down, like, what are some of the anxieties that you think you suffer from, generally speaking, that you have, you know, as you've gotten older through life?
I think the scientific term is I just have generalized anxiety disorder, but I'm going to have to repeat what I said in our first shooting.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a lot of repeating.
My first ever panic attack that I can recall was at the Biltmore. My ex, my mom, and my sister went there for my mom's birthday back in 2015, I'm pretty sure. And it's almost 5 years ago now. And we were just walking around, and I think it was actually in the little gift shop is where I started feeling chest pains, and my breathing was getting hard or heavy, and I was like, I need to get out of here. And they ended up, I can't remember if they probably had some emergency help on site. I got help from them, and I hated to do this because, but we had to leave because I was not feeling good, and we had to cut the visit short. I think we pretty much looked at everything, but it's not a good feeling whenever you can't breathe well and your chest hurts, and then you gotta let the whole group down. You gotta go home because what happened to you, and you don't even know why it happened. But so I ended up, I probably went to the doctor that same week and got diagnosed and prescribed medication and got on all these medications, and that's where it all started.
Yeah, and that was unprovoked, like you said, so you had no idea what really kind of caused it. And when we did our first episode, I wanted to relate, like, you grew up being, a relatively popular guy when we went to school together. You ended up transferring to a bigger high school later on in, your junior or senior year. And you weren't, the same celebrity you were at the school that we went to together. And one of the points that I made was I wondered if, as you started to adult more, that maybe the lack of control in your life caused some of the anxieties that you've dealt with up to this point because you're a structure guy. I mean, I made the point that, you're late to basically everything we ever make a time for, including this recording. What?
Well, today I was expecting to work out before class, but I was like, this is one of the 2 days I can sleep in a little bit. So I'm like, I'm just gonna sleep in and work out after class. So that's what I did. So
Okay, well, I never said there wasn't a reason, but you're always late. But you are someone who likes structure. You like to have
I like to schedule.
preset times for things. You're very organized, even though you're kind of messy with your room. But like as the Funko Pop collection behind you, you have it organized based off the way So you're an organized person for the most part, and you like to have structure. So I wonder if some of your choices that have led to where you are now, the lack of structure that you've had as an adult, has created some more of your anxieties, things like that. And I mean, I don't know if you have much of a take on that, or that was just more of my opinion. But I wanted to kind of relate some of your insecurities and things that have driven your anxiety to maybe your relationship with your father, which is something we talked about before. And I think you made some good points on that, so I kind of wanted you to remake some of those points this time.
You want me to mention my insecurities?
Yeah, things like that.
All right. I hate talking about my insecurities. I don't think I really told you about like how insecure I am about my acne scarring until recently. I don't think you did you know about that until recently?
We've talked about it before. Like, I mean, when you were taking all the medicines for it and stuff like that, I mean, I knew that you were trying to, try to
That
take
was
care of it. So I
that was
didn't
for
know
my
if it was as bad as it was, but
that was for my breakout though. I'm talking about like the scarring I got from the breakouts.
no, I don't think I knew too much.
Yeah, I don't think I mentioned it to you until recently because I hate talking about it and I don't want to be like, oh hey, so what do you think? And then oh yeah, it's really bad, or you'll say, oh, it's actually not that bad. I don't even really notice it. It's like, are they saying that because they don't want to be mean, or? But you're usually straightforward, so I want to say that I do believe you. But like you said, like everyone who has insecurities, they notice their insecurities more than other people because it's theirs. But so yeah, that's a big insecurity. That's my number one insecurity, even above stuttering, because I've kind of learned how to combat in a way, how to fight that issue, since I've had it since I was a little kid. Um, I'd like to go back to speech therapy. That would help because I took it back in elementary school and middle school, and that definitely helped. But yeah, so those are my two like main big insecurities. And the whole thing with my
Hmm.
dad, um, basically what we touched up on the first time was he's always there for me financially. Um, I'm not going to say every story. I'm just going to say the one story that we talked about before was how I finally made all A's in school one semester, and I've never made all A's. I've never made all B's. Like it's been
This is in college. This isn't in high school. This was in college, right?
college. I'm I'm not going to name the college because of what my dad said. But so I've never made all A's and B's or all B's. It's been like C's. Like I was a bad student back in high school and stuff because I didn't try. I didn't read. I didn't study. And so I finally made all A's. And we were in the living room. I still remember this. It was like 3 years ago. And my ex was in there with me too. And she was kind of surprised by the whole response. And I was like, yeah, either I said, hey, I made all A's, or he found out because I was talking to my mom about it because me and him talk a lot. But he was like, yeah, because it's an easy school, and you can call me a snowflake or whatever, but like I I wanted some recognition, I guess, from my dad just because we don't really talk and have a great relationship. But when he gave me that response, I was okay. Okay.
It's tough, and I think it's one of the things that separates us. I mean, everybody kind of they usually fall into one of two categories. Generally, you either do better with negative reinforcement or positive reinforcement, and the same that works, both ways. Generally, like somebody like me, I would do better with negative reinforcement because like I'm so hard on myself. Like the more people like tell me how bad I did, the more I want to do better next time. And where you seem to be someone who generally benefits from more of a positive reinforcement thing. Like you would have probably been a lot more motivated to stay at that level of production, given somebody giving you the recognition. And it's something we talked about before. Like I've been on your dad's side and your side at different times on some of your issues that you came to me about. And I think, I mean, obviously with any kind of conversation, like it varies based off of the person, obviously. But I think that primarily you are somebody who until recently have always taken not just a thing just for granted, but you've never had to deal with some of the severity of actions and things like that, which would lead into like some of the, you took in so many jobs, going to school so many times. You kind of were looking for a pathway, and I think that, going back to like I said with lack of structure, I think until here recently, where you had, the hit to the chin that you had, you kind of were probably naive to some of the poor decisions you were making, and the irrational just decisions, I guess, that you had been kind of going back to back, and talk about getting on a winning streak and just keep going down that path, and that's kind of where you are now. Uh, you're going on. I'll say again, you're going back to school now. You're working out hard. Just to kind of give an update to the audience of like the things that you're doing now to try to benefit, and then we'll kind of go into where you were before, and then we'll kind of contrast where you are now.
Well, the main thing I'm doing now is I'm staying fucking hard. So, that's a quote by
David Goggins.
kind of call him my mentor from afar.
Yeah, you
David
don't know.
Goggins, yeah. And that's not anything to do with that's not sexual. It's about getting after it every day, and whether at school or work or whatever it is. But
And it's sex. What if you're a porn star?
yeah, there you go.
Just stay hard at staying hard.
But so what have I done? Started going back to school. I kept my full-time job so far. Um, I still remember whenever you told me that you and Brian don't think I'll do it. I remember telling you, I know that's not like a shot at me, but like it's hard to do. It was technically a shot because I am kind of lazy, so I was like, yeah, that guy's not gonna be able to do that shit. But I just whenever you said I do well with positive reinforcement, I think I used to. I think I do better with negative now because like that just kind of filled me more like, oh well, like I said, you don't mean it in a bad way, but if someone says I can't, then I'm gonna try to do it and show them I can. But yeah, I think right now it's not for sure set in stone, but because two classes they haven't graded anything for whatever reason over a month in the school, but I should have two A's in those classes. I have another A, then I have a C because I didn't do those two first assignments, but I would have an A. So I'm going back to school full time, working full time, and should have all A's right now.
Well, let it be said too, our work schedule is extremely irregular. Like it's not convenient to go to school and do our work schedule where we work generally from about 3 to 4 a.m. to, around lunchtime every day. So, I mean, like, for you to go to school while you're working the schedule that you're working, it means a lot more than for most people doing a 9 to 5 because then you just do night classes. You can do one before, one after. For you, you're losing an ample amount of sleep every day on top of working out, on top of going to school full time. Like, it's definitely a grind. There's no doubt about that.
It's not convenient as far as sleep goes, but it's convenient that I can get classes in afternoon
Oh, yeah, that part's nice, of course.
every day. But yeah, like you said, like I'm already I get tired easily, as you know. Like we'll talk about whenever I used to live with my ex. You know, you get home about 1 o'clock, sleep until 5 o'clock. So 3 to 4 hours of sleep every day. Now I have taken naps, but it's been like 30 minutes or 45 minutes or maybe an hour. Like I don't have time to waste like that anymore. And I used to play video games a lot. I still do play video games. I'm playing more again recently because I, whenever I go to work, and I go to class, then I work out, whatever it is, then I come home, do my homework, then I play. I don't come home and just play. Like I make sure I get my stuff done first. And but yeah, I'm just trying to improve and become a better person by doing all this. So
Yeah, no, it's you definitely like we talked about earlier. I think like everything has like a coin phrase, and I think like stay hard has been David Goggins' thing, and I think right now, I've always looked at it like you want to kind of get momentum. It's the hardest thing, it's unstoppable force. When you start getting things going, you hit that winning streak, and you just keep on going. I'm sure at some point we'll have our coin phrase. We'll put it on T-shirts and sell it, hopefully, if we ever get any notoriety from this. But so we've kind of talked about your insecurities. Talked a little bit about your dad. I'm trying to keep everything kind of general. Like last time we did it, we kind of actually got into some of these topics. This time I want it to be mostly more of what our title is as an introduction to you. Um, so we talked about the insecurities, the anxieties, things like that. We talked about in the last episode how to combat them, and I want to save those actually for the episode again. So what I want to do, we talked about those things. We've hinted at it. You went through like kind of a traumatic, life-changing thing about 6, 7 months ago now. You went through a breakup. I want you to kind of just elaborate who you think you were pre-breakup, and then like one of the major differences you are now post-breakup when it comes to like your mental, not only health, but just like your decision making process, all that stuff. Just kind of give me, I guess, basically what I'm asking for, a general synopsis of the whole thing.
yeah, I think we texted about it a little bit this morning, was it, or last night? I've changed a little bit.
Yeah, it was this
Um,
morning.
I do want to say one more thing about my dad because I said in the last video, I didn't say in this video. Just so we kind of clear it up, he comes off as an asshole, but he's not really a bad guy. Kind of like in my situation with my relationship, which I'm about to go into. He went through some shit as a kid that obviously I don't know because I wasn't there, but I've heard stories, and I'm not gonna go into that because that's personal. But I think what I'm trying to get at is um, like what I told you with what David Goggins said. Like, if someone does something bad, everyone like completely shits on that guy without even knowing anything. And I've kind of done that with my dad for the past decade or so, how long it's been um, since we've had a better relationship. Because we used to like, I used to have a better relationship with my dad when I was younger than my mom, but now it's mostly with my mom. And as I said in the first recording, um, I feel like my mom was too soft on me. Um, and that's why I've been pretty soft as a person. But yeah, so to the relationship, I kind of touched on it. Uh, I was super lazy, no ambition, no drive, no no plan really. Like I was going from job to job, school to school. This is my fifth college, and um, I think I'm on pace to finish after this semester. If I do summer classes too, I could finish in 2022, hopefully. Um, yeah, so like a big example is like the UPS driving thing where I worked my ass off to get that job. I was one of the fastest ever to get that opportunity, and I basically squandered it because it got a little hard. And from my ex's perspective, I can see like how going from job to job and going to school and dropping out of school, that would that would piss me off too because she was working really hard, going to school. Now she's got a good job, and it's like, what the fuck am I doing? So um, there were a couple other issues in the relationship, but those are very personal that only you and like my closest friends know
Yeah, we
about.
don't have to get that onto this pod, especially this pod, not our open. We'll maybe touch on some of it later down the road when we start doing maybe episodes around similar topics. But right now, I mean, laziness, probably selfishness to a degree too. Those two things were definitely, to me, the critical hit points that need to be mentioned now. So, those were kind of the foundation of who you were mentally speaking. We talked about like what you're doing now. How do you feel now differently
I
on a
definitely,
mental?
I definitely feel better. Working out is a big reason because of that. I didn't work out for a few months before the breakup, I believe. Like I stopped working out back in November or October, so then we broke up in April. And after the breakup, I pretty much just got the fuck after it. Now, not as hard as I've been doing, but like I started working out. I started running. Before school started, I was working out and running 6, 7 days a week. Even on like, I'm pretty sure I had shin splints. Like there's no way that I didn't. 'Cause my shins were killing me. And but I still do it because another David Goggins quote was, "This is why I relate to him so well." Now his life story was much harder than mine. I'm not saying that, but he said that I've quit so many times, or he said he knows what's on the back end of quitting, and it's a lifetime of why the fuck did I do that? And obviously he worked really hard, and you see where he's at now. So basically that's what I'm trying to do. Like I need to stick to this, and if I just keep working hard, everything else will basically fall into place.
And it's a good mentality to adapt to is the resiliency. And I think the most successful people in life are people that generally attack the idea of a lack of comfort and go to places that they are not totally in control of because I think that you adapt to a concept of no matter what I can, invest in myself mentally and physically and that's kind of another topic we'll talk about later down the road in another episode. Totally, the combination of mental and physical coming together, which I think once you've mastered those two things, I mean, generally life starts to really fall in place for you, and I think that's what's happening for you now. You're starting to really hit, like I said, the winning streak. Like you got your body down right, you're starting to think right, and I think you start to feel the best that you can feel when you dive into those emotions. So I mean. Right now, I think that that's a really good introduction to who you are. I mean, like I said in the last episode, like I got a front row seat to who you're becoming now. You still have some bonehead moments where you'll send me some stupid shit, and I got to crack you back down for a second. You might be, high on a testosterone boost after a workout, sending me some bullshit, and I got to calm you down in some of those moments. But outside of that, you're really starting to hit your stride, and I think that it's kind of like, we're huge sports fans. I've always said success trickles from the top down. So like, great ownership leads to great general managing, great coaching, great players. I think right now you've definitely got down your ownership and your, general management. So right now, the rest of your life I think is going to start coming together too, whether it's, at school or in your own personal life outside of it. So, I mean, it's been an exciting, sporting event, I'll say. We had a lot of rocky roads for a while there, but right now I think we're at the cruise part of the game where we're about to start winning and, come out victorious. So as your best friend, as your co-host, as somebody who has seen every step of this way and has tried to approach it not just as a friend but totally unbiased to benefit you, I think that you're doing great. And the people that have doubted you up to this point, you have shut up. And there's still people that think you don't deserve to have this platform, considering what you did and considering, the lack of, mental stability you've had at times over the past 6 months. I think you're really rounding out. And I think that when you go back and look at this pod as well as, like a pod 20, or I said pod, episode, 20 episodes from now, I think that you're going to be able to see some of your own growth as a person, and I think that you're going to be proud of that too. Because I mean, over the past just 2 or 3 months, I think it's a substantial difference. I mean, there's been hiccups, but you have really improved in a lot of ways. And I mean, I see it. It seems to be honestly weekly, you're better and better. So the prime form of yourself, you're definitely getting to, and I think that that's good as far as who you are. I mean, I'll let you have any final words you want to have, and then I'll wrap this up, and we'll be on our way.
Yeah, another thing I want to add, I was at my heaviest, which you know, but
You're
in case
fat.
if anyone watches this, I was at my heaviest at the break of at like 192, and I consider myself fat. This doesn't call anyone else fat or anything. This is just how I felt about myself. I consider myself fat, and now I'm down to 177. Close to from where I was the worst shape in my life. Now I'm maybe not the best shape, but I'm almost there. I'm getting there. And a story that I told you last time was we used to work out at the YMCA, me and my ex, and we had to push a car. And I played sports since I was 5 years old. We got done pushing the car, barely got to the point that we had to push it to. I go to the side and I throw up. I've never thrown up in any sporting event or practice or game or anything. So that kind of tells you how out of shape that I was. And I was like, after the breakup, like I knew I had to do something. And the previous girl that I was with before my ex, I
Your other ex.
yeah, I think I learned a lot from that too because I was at NC State and I did nothing, and that got me nowhere.
Hmm.
So I was like, I can't do that again. Especially at this age now, I definitely gotta go up instead of just stay where I'm at. And that's another thing. Like I never grew in the relationship, and it wasn't because of my ex, it was because of me. And like you and like all my close friends know, I take full accountability for everything that I did wrong. I know it was wrong, and but I'm definitely more open-minded about the whole second chance thing because like I'm not a bad guy. It's just like I did so much stupid shit, and I think like changing from what I used to do for the better now is really helping me become the person that I'm trying to be now. So
Hmm. No, and a lot. You actually talked on probably 2 or 3 hitting points there that we're gonna have full episodes dedicated to down the line, where it's second chances, personal growth and wellness, and then like selfish decision, all that stuff. I mean, there's a lot that you touch on right there, and we have guests already lined up on the idea of exes and breakups, all that stuff. So, guys, this is kind of our sign out. We're gonna obviously get better at all of this process down the road. We're probably gonna be doing an entrance and an exit at some point. We get some real actual editing into this. And hopefully the production ends up being something that benefits people. I mean, if it's one person, I think we'll both feel very accomplished. So this is our sign out, guys. Remember, the feeling is mutual. Everybody goes through all the things you're feeling right now. And we're just going to keep growing. And David, that's a wrap. End it when you want.